Okay, have you ever come across a story that just, well, stops you in your tracks?
Definitely. And sometimes it involves names you really wouldn't expect.
That's exactly where we're starting today. We're going to dive into some pretty unexpected legal news surrounding a figure most of us know instantly.
Yeah, it's certainly a development that's got a lot of people taking a second look. A big name, for sure.
Right. We're talking about a civil lawsuit that's just been filed involving Smokey Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
And our main source for this deep dive is a report from the Express Tribune dated just yesterday, May 7th, 2025. So very current.
Very current, yeah. And it details some exceptionally serious allegations.
Serious feels like almost an understatement here. According to the Express Tribune, 4 former employees have filed this lawsuit.
Yeah.
And the claims against Smokey Robinson are significant.
What are we talking about specifically?
We're talking allegations of sexual assault, harassment, false imprisonment, and gender violence.
Wow. Okay, those are accusations that carry, profound legal weight. Suggest some deeply damaging experiences.
Absolutely. And then there's the financial side of it, which is also quite striking.
Oh.
The 4 plaintiffs are reportedly seeking no less than $50 million in damages.
$50 million. Okay. That figure alone really underscores the gravity, of the claims from their side.
It really does.
It certainly suggests the level of harm they feel they've suffered and, well, how seriously their legal team is taking this.
So our goal here today is really to unpack the main details, the core allegations as the article reports them. We want to get a handle on the specifics, what's being claimed, the timeline, that sort of thing.
And yeah, it's really important to be clear up front. This is a civil lawsuit we're talking about.
Crucial distinction.
Right. The article is clear. No criminal charges have been filed against Smokey Robinson at this point. Understanding that difference is, well, fundamental here.
Absolutely. So let's get into those specifics. What are these former employees actually alleging? The article calls them Jane Doe 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Right, keeping their identities confidential.
Exactly. And each one has brought forward distinct claims, but there seem to be some very concerning common threads running through them. It's quite something, the range and severity here.
It really is. It suggests, well, potentially a range of alleged misconduct affecting these women differently over different times.
Okay, so starting with Jane Doe 1. The report says she alleges having knowledge of past settlements apparently made by Smokey Robinson's wife, Frances Robinson.
Okay, so knowledge of prior issues.
Yes, and her claim goes further. It suggests that Frances' alleged inaction, knowing about these past incidents, basically allowed or enabled further abuse to happen.
That introduces a really significant element, doesn't it? This idea of alleged awareness, maybe enabling behavior. It definitely raises questions about who might bear responsibility.
It does. Then there's Jane Doe 2. Her claims focus on repeated harassment and assaults. She says these happened between 2016 and when she left in 2020.
So a 4-year period.
Right. And crucially, she states she was working for both Smokey and Frances Robinson during that time. So this points to, a sustained period of alleged bad acts impacting her work life directly.
Yeah, it speaks to a potential pattern within that specific workplace environment over several years.
Then we move to Jane Doe 3, and the allegations frankly become even more disturbing.
Okay.
She claims that during her employment, and this was a long stretch, 2012 to 2024, she was raped. At least 20 times.
20 times? That is shocking. The sheer alleged frequency over such a long period is deeply, deeply troubling. That will no doubt be a huge focus.
No question. It's a claim that, if proven, represents just a profound violation, immense harm.
Absolutely.
And finally, Jane Doe 4. Her allegations cover the longest time frame mentioned, from 2006 all the way up to 2024.
Wow, that's 17, 18 years.
About 17 years, yeah. During her time employed as a housekeeper, she claims she endured sustained sexual harassment and assault throughout that entire period.
So across nearly 2 decades.
Exactly. The fact that you have these allegations spanning almost 2 decades, involving multiple people in different roles, if these claims hold up, it paints a very concerning picture.
It certainly raises serious questions about the workplace environment and, how potential long-term abuse could go unchecked for so long.
Yeah. And that overall time frame, 2006 to 2024, it's extensive. It really does suggest, according to the lawsuit, a pattern that allegedly persisted for a very, very long time.
It does.
And like we touched on with Jane Doe 1, the lawsuit specifically names Smokey Robinson's wife, Frances Robinson, as well.
Right, not just him.
not just him. The allegation, again, is that she knew about past incidents and failed to act to prevent more from happening, which brings up that important question, doesn't it, about the responsibilities of people who might know about alleged misconduct.
It really brings that into focus, the idea of accountability. Do people in positions of authority or just those who know things have some kind of duty to step in?
Right.
And the legal complaint itself, as the Express Tribune reports it, apparently uses some pretty strong language. It describes the alleged acts as willful, wanton, and malicious.
Strong words.
Very strong. And it says they were committed with a disregard for the victim's rights and well-being. Now, in legal terms, those words usually suggest a deliberate, reckless disregard for others' safety and rights. That's often the basis for seeking punitive damages.
Punitive damages meaning?
Damages meant to punish the defendant, essentially, for really bad conduct, and to deter others from doing the same thing in the future, beyond just compensating the victims for their losses.
Got it. And the plaintiff's legal team, they've also put out a statement. They highlighted the alleged long-term consequences for these women.
Which would they?
They're claiming significant emotional trauma, financial hardship, and also a loss of professional opportunities, all stemming directly, they say, from these alleged experiences.
And if you think about it, those are exactly the kinds of harms civil lawsuits like this often try to address. Compensating for lost income, yes, but also for the intangible stuff like emotional distress.
Makes sense. These claimed long-term impacts really underscore the potential severity of what's being alleged and the lasting effects.
For sure.
The article also mentions something else interesting. The plaintiff's legal team has scheduled a press conference in downtown LA.
Okay, so taking it public.
Seems like it. They're expected to give more details about the case, answer questions. It sounds like they plan to bring even more information out.
That could be a significant moment. Could shape public perception, maybe put more pressure on the Robinsons to respond. It's definitely a strategic move. Allows the plaintiffs to tell their side directly, perhaps gather more support.
Yeah. However, and this is important, as of when the Express Tribune article was written, representatives for Smokey and Frances Robinson hadn't responded.
No comment yet.
No comment yet to any media inquiries about these, very serious allegations,
No.
which, as you probably know, isn't that unusual this early on.
No, not at all. It's pretty standard legal practice, really. You want to be very careful about any public statements when you're facing accusations this serious. They're likely formulating their legal strategy.
Right. So, okay, we've gone through the details reported in the article. What are some of the key takeaways here? What really stands out from this report?
Well, first and foremost, the sheer gravity of the allegations. It's unavoidable. Sexual assault, harassment, false imprisonment, gender violence. These are incredibly serious claims.
Absolutely.
And that $50 million figure sought in damages just hammers home the magnitude of the harm the plaintiffs are alleging.
Yeah, it really does. And the fact that these claims come from 4 different women, spanning such a long time, nearly 2 decades, that seems really significant too. It suggests, well, according to the lawsuit, a potential pattern over a very extended period.
That's a major point. And the involvement of Smokey Robinson's wife, Frances, in the allegations. That's another critical piece.
Right, the claim she allegedly knew and didn't act.
Exactly. It adds this whole other layer of complexity and potential liability to the case.
And that upcoming press conference is definitely something to watch.
For sure.
Now, we have to remember, any info shared there is still coming from one side, the plaintiff's side, but it could shed more light on their claims, their experiences.
True. It's also a reminder, isn't it, that everything we know right now is based purely on the allegations in this civil lawsuit, as reported by the newspaper.
Yes. Crucially, these claims haven't been tested or proven in court yet.
That's the vital point to keep in mind. In a civil case, the burden of proof rests on the plaintiffs. They have to demonstrate their claims are more likely true than not.
That is such an important distinction. It's a civil matter right now. The legal process has to unfold, let all sides present their case.
Due process is absolutely fundamental. Everyone gets a chance to be heard, the evidence gets examined. That's how the system is supposed to work.
So just to kind of wrap this up, we've taken a deep dive into some really significant legal news today. A civil lawsuit filed against Smokey Robinson by 4 former employees.
And these women are making incredibly serious allegations of misconduct, sexual assault, harassment included, stretching over a long time from 2006 right up to 2024.
Yeah. We covered the specific claims from each Jane Doe, as detailed in the Express Tribune, the allegations involving his wife, Frances, and that substantial $50 million damages figure.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is, and it makes you think, doesn't it? about the complexities in these situations. You have these devastating allegations on one hand,
Hmm.
and on the other, a legal system built around fairness and due process for everyone involved. It kind of leaves you considering the massive impact I think like that these can have, whatever the final legal outcome might be.